This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
And this is indeed Meltdown Live, and I am your king of the castle, Mr. Tim Melton, here with you in the Culver studio. Thrilled to be back for another episode of the show. Piece of fuzz in my face. Thank you so much for being here on this Hump Day edition of Meltdown Live. We always appreciate your subscription and hitting that little notification bell so you know when we go live. Hey, some days we don't even know when we go live. So how are you supposed to know if we don't know? Hit the little bell. That's what we'll tell you. Let's introduce this cast of characters, including Tyler, Lionel, John's here with us. Tyler, how are you, my man?
It's been a day. It's been just one of those days. Every time we have a storm here in our area, it likes to mess up our equipment, and then so I gotta run all around the building and reset everything.
It
A
was
lot of fun.
it was eerie last night. I mean, I was driving home and there were chunks of wood flying on the
Oh
interstate
yeah.
from the trees that were being blown with 60-mile-an-hour winds or whatever it was. I mean, it was
Lot
insane.
of debris.
A lot of Debras. And you know what? We navigated through, and that's what's important. I went over to Second and Charles, got us a mystery box for later this week. That'll be opened up on Friday's show. We're very excited about the mystery box because it's not an eBay box. Thank goodness. I know that some people enjoy the eBay boxes. I was not one of them. I did not have fun with the eBay boxes. It was a miserable experience, and as a collector, it was one that soured me on trying to curate my overgrowing collection of physical media. But I spent all last night during the storms organizing every one of the DVDs we've pulled.
Where did you put them?
I have bought off of Facebook Marketplace multiple display cases to be able to showcase my collection, and I'm working through and I categorize them in different genres and alphabetically.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It was a lot of work. Thank you, EG.
You're
You know, some
welcome.
of us we're willing to sacrifice
Yeah.
for the greater good,
Yeah.
and that's what I did last night.
Where are these going in your home?
So these are in my office.
Okay.
These are in my office. I have tons of records, Batman memorabilia, movie memorabilia, 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, a lot of comic books, graphic novels, and a lot of art. A lot of
A smorgasbord, board, if you will.
correct. Very pop culture centric, and I'm building out this room. Oh yeah, and tons of Funko Pops as well. So,
I'd like to see a visual of this.
but I'm telling you, it's very organized. It sounds chaotic in there, very organized. That's also where I keep my record player and I listen to all my records. So
Jam
it's
out.
great. I got a TV in there, and you know, it's really it's going well. But I'm in the organization phase right now of making sure that everything is where I know it needs to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Are you like the type that you have to have everything has a certain place, or are you the type that goes, where did I leave that? Let me look
Last.
around.
I would say I'm a mixture of both. I think that at times, when it comes to my bathroom, I struggle to put things away. Like products I'm using, hair tools, they gotta sit on the counter because it's like, I'm gonna use it tomorrow.
Yeah, like Better Homes and Garden magazine's not coming in to take a photo
No.
shoot anytime
Mm-mm.
soon. But if they did,
They would be probably y'all would all be disappointed in me.
well, no, you have time. You'd fix
Oh,
it.
yeah, for
You'd
sure. When I
stall.
have company. When I have company, I make sure that it's tip top shape. But in like my living room, everything has a place. Like
Yeah.
blankets, remote, plate things go certain places.
Gotcha. Kitchen, pretty organized?
Yeah, kitchen's very organized. I have to like do a reset of my living room before I go to bed every night. So that's where I spend a lot of time like watching games, TV, etc. And like I have like my little I don't have a very large apartment, so things clutter up. Fluff the pillows, fold the blankets.
You ever have any problem with actually being able to access games with where you're at? I know Braves games are a whole
Yeah.
different story, but
I think I need a Fire Stick on my TV because it always disconnects from my Wi-Fi. It's super annoying. But my TV in my room does not do that, and it's a Fire Stick.
yeah, I think that would save it.
Yeah, so I
It
need to
would
do
help.
that. That's on my
Oh,
list of things to do.
okay, we'll look into that.
Yeah.
Um, I want to give Tyler a little bit of a heads up here, and I hate to do that here on the air. I actually meant to do this off air,
Oh,
but we've been handling some business. I had a tire issue today on the drive-in
No.
where about 6 months ago, I was driving into work and I got a notification that I was losing tire pressure
Mhm.
and and actually, I immediately called my wife. I was like, hey, just wanted to say our final goodbyes, that sort of thing. Overreacted just a little bit there
Slightly.
just a little bit. But no, she was like, hey, maybe I think I was actually on the phone with her maybe while I'm driving.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, about 2 miles up the road is that tire place. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me go directly there while I still have tire pressure. So I went there because I was thinking I'm gonna have to pull over and
The whole 9
get the
yards.
spare and
Yeah.
have really call AAA and have them come out and look at everything. But I made it to the tire place and there was a giant nail in there. There's always construction in our neighborhood, so there was a giant nail in my tire. I had to get it patched and they were able to save the tire. Anyway, long story short, too late. Today I had the same thing happen at the exact same place.
Are you
Like I got
serious?
the same notification at the exact same intersection. Like it's not a notable intersection, but it's the exact same place. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this is just from the time it takes me to get from my neighborhood to this intersection, that is when my tire, when
Gets
it gets a nail in it, ends
something
up
is
having a
embedded.
problem. And so I immediately drove to the tire shop. I didn't have to call my wife this time. Thank you, wifey.
Nice.
And I get to the tire shop. I can't find the nail in there. I'm looking around, can't find the nail, can't find the nail. I'm backing up. I'm looking around. I'm looking all around the tire. And then I realized like I'm layered up and I'm cold. And the reason for that is because
Yeah.
the pressure, my
Yep.
tire pressure got affected by the rapid change in weather that we had.
I mean, it went from sunny and 75 to literally brutal weather. I was at practice this morning for
Yeah.
Bama. We had to be there 8:30. Freezing. My hands were like moving in slow motion.
Need some of those Spud hand
I know.
warmers. That'll help.
I wasn't expecting to need them today, but I should have brought them.
You should have. But no, it got cold and that's what affected my tire. So no nails. So that's the good
That is
story.
good.
The bad story is it really slowed me down getting in, and then I pumped up my tire. They had free air there at the tire
Nice,
place, and
nice.
I was able to pump it up. But Tyler and I were out there checking the tire instead of me telling him what I wanted to tell him,
Oh,
which is, Tyler, they have restocked Temple of Doom 4K Steelbook. Have you got a copy?
I have not.
Okay. I didn't know how much you cared about that.
Um, I'll pass on it for now. I'm good.
oh wow.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm good.
okay. Well, Temple of Doom is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. And last night, I got a notification from a YouTuber actually
Really?
that Paramount titles at Barnes and Noble all 50% off for who
This
knows how
sounds
long.
like a perfect opportunity for you and Lionel to get out there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about collecting physical media EGs, you got to pace yourself the right way,
You
right?
do.
You got to sort of know what you want to go with and
You need a to-do
strike
list.
you got to strike at the right moment.
Mhm.
But I couldn't pass this up because this is like definitely on one of my must-haves and I was able to get that. And so then I alerted Tyler like, "Hey, this is going on." 5 minutes after I had checked out, and they had sold out, or it was out of stock.
So there are others among us
There
that
are
are
others among us who understand the value of physical media, and so I just noticed that they just restocked, and you know, Tyler may get it at some point, may not get it at some point,
may not.
but who
Doesn't seem like
knows?
he's intrigued.
Yeah, there's a chance of that. Okay, here's what we're gonna go with now, and that is my quick summary of Daredevil Born Again. I watched episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus, which dropped yesterday. The first 2 episodes dropped. I've only watched 1 episode. It's an hour long, and it starts off with a bang for sure. This thing doesn't waste much time. It gets right into it. And if you've seen the Netflix series, it is something that picks up right from that. It's a continuation from the Netflix series. It is definitely TVMA for sure.
Okay.
Daredevil on Netflix ran from 2015 to 2018.
Give me a quick synopsis over the premise, if you don't mind.
The premise is you have a character that is a vigilante,
Okay.
that is a lawyer
Okay.
who's also blind.
Wow, that
But-
is quite the trio.
Correct. But all of his other senses are heightened
Mm.
tremendously.
Mhm.
and he's great at hand-to-hand combat, and he's great at
Even though he's blind.
societal awareness. Yeah, he can like see things through all of his other senses combining up to where he can sort of project
Huh.
exactly what sort of incoming threat there is. His name Matt Murdock. It's played by Charlie Cox,
Okay.
and it's a perfect casting. It's really, really good casting. And he is joined on screen by Vincent D'Onofrio, who is cast as Kingpin. He's about my size and just a looming, towering figure of a comic book villain that is perfectly represented on air
Okay.
by the guy from Law and Order Criminal Intent. He's also in the movie The Breakup. He plays the older brother of Vince Vaughn in that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Kind of a depressing movie.
I don't remember. I think he's older brother. Yeah, yeah. It
That's
is a
not the
depressing movie,
best.
but I really like that. I really like The Breakup. I've almost purchased The Breakup multiple times, but I haven't found the right deal on it. So I'm waiting to pull it out of a box.
I feel like
hopefully.
we could pull that one.
Yes, that's the hope. But Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio play Daredevil and Kingpin. They're both back in this, and they both feel like those Netflix versions of the
Mhm.
characters because we've seen Daredevil and we've seen Kingpin in series that Disney has done to this point multiple times, including in Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home, you see Daredevil pop up.
Oh.
But this feels like the Netflix version of them so far, at least in episode 1. I haven't seen episode 2. But this is a situation where supposedly the Marvel bosses supported the sort of brutal and violent themes of the Netflix series for this adaptation as they continue on. And I'll give you this.
Yeah.
This is the synopsis they put out. In Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, Matt Murdock, a blind lawyer with heightened abilities, is fighting for justice through his bustling law firm, while former mob boss Wilson Fisk pursues his own political endeavors in New York. When their past identities begin to emerge, both men find themselves in an inevitable collision course. One is taking the political route, one is taking more of the
Creative.
street level vengeance route. And it seems like these two are going to butt heads yet again. But it's a great rivalry on screen. And so far, I'm enjoying it for the most part. It does make me appreciate something like HBO's The Penguin more
Okay.
because I feel like it's a better adaptation of sort of gritty crime with crazy violence and great writing. And,
Yep.
this one feels still very comic booky to me.
Okay.
And I am not totally in on it yet. I like it, but I don't love it. I want to love it.
Is this something that you think you could love after a few more episodes?
I could, yeah, I could warm up to it more.
Okay.
But I really think the Netflix series had so much more weight to it than what I'm
Right.
seeing here from the Disney series.
Is it bingeable or is it like 1 week episode releases?
So they dropped 2 to start off with, and then after that, I think they're doing 1 a week.
Okay.
So
They got to go Acolyte style, make you pay for Disney Plus for a couple months.
let me tell you, I'm tired. This is another thing physical media has done to me, collecting it all and watching it. I'm tired of commercials interrupting my programming.
I wholeheartedly agree, especially when you're paying for a subscription.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Now, I understand, like, in radio, I come from the world of radio. First off, there are way too many ads in radio. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's also what keeps the service free for people.
Right.
So it's like this trade off of, okay, I'm not paying for this, but I've got the ads. When you're paying and you're getting hit with the ads, now I know there are tiers where you can level up even more to not have ads, but it's really tonally jarring when you're watching something.
So you mean Netflix and all those other streaming services? They have a solution to that? Watching too many ads, the problem they created.
Correct.
Yeah.
There you go, Tyler. That is correct.
Insightful.
So what I love is being able to pop in a disc and not have to worry about
That's
breaking up the flow of content.
That's so true. That's so true. I was watching this, y'all are gonna laugh at me for this. Keeping Up with the Kardashians last night. I discovered that it was on Peacock and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't watched this in forever." And I couldn't even watch it because I was like, it's all ads. Like I'm getting 6 ads for a 40-minute show.
Yeah, and I hate the timer that like it counts
Yes.
down, but it's done in seconds, so it feels like it's they're trying to make you feel like it's short amount of time, but it's really
You'll get hit with a 128er and it's like, why?
yeah.
What did I do to you?
I don't know. Like we do family movie night
Yeah.
every week, and I've been doing DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks for that. However, there's one particular movie that I wanted to show my daughter and my wife that we didn't own. We haven't pulled out of the box, and it's Mrs. Doubtfire. And they had not seen it, or at least had not seen it recently. My wife had not. And we started it on Friday night. We finished it last night. And the amount of ads that would break in through the movie that just sort of completely take you out of the momentum.
Totally.
Like, at least in television, you're kind of used to ads, right?
Mhm.
At least in TV, you kind of have like okay, well, there's commercial breaks on the network, so I get that. But movies, I mean, I guess unless you're watching on TBS and TNT and USA and all that stuff, but like
Is it
just
TBS that has the what do they call it? Movies with breaks? Is that on
yeah,
TBS or is that Comedy Central?
yeah. I'm not sure because it's been a long time since I've watched basic cable
Yeah.
movies. But Mrs. Doubtfire was one of those that like I think they did a poll back in like 10 years ago. Like,
Mhm.
what's the movie that's played on basic cable the most over the past 15 years? And Mrs. Doubtfire was number one. So
Really?
yeah, it had been playing the most. But still, I still think it's very funny, very much holds up. I think Robin Williams in that movie is incredible. I just don't know how else to put it. I mean,
He's a gem, an absolute
th-
delight.
there's that that movie does not work without him. I've started to think like, could Jim Carrey have worked in this role? To a degree, yes. Maybe that's the closest I could get. But I mean, Jim Carrey and Robin Williams in the 90s, what they provided in their comedies, I don't feel like they're really that interchangeable. I feel like a Jim Carrey comedy in the 90s is very much Jim Carrey. I don't see Robin Williams being able to play Ace Ventura or Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
But I don't see Jim Carrey playing Mrs. Doubtfire or even, the genie from Aladdin or something. Like I feel like there such dominant comedy forces there in the 90s. And Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the all-time coming in just absolutely on a rocket ship that entire movie with what he's able to do. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired of having to resort to what streaming service is this on and then be a victim of
Right.
whatever sort of guidelines they have.
It's so frustrating
Yeah.
because, again, it goes back to you're paying your hard-earned money to these subscription services, and they're not wholly complete, in my opinion. Like, either they're not gonna have the titles you want, or you're trying to watch something like it was last night, and it's all ads.
Nick is in the chat. You know how many ads runs on here if you do not watch it live? Couple things. It's free. Like that's the whole point, right? Is like when you're watching something on YouTube, if you're not a premium member, you're going to get ads in there. But it's also you're trading off that you're not paying a monthly subscription. Like that's
And
what
they
keeps
do
it free.
offer a monthly subscription for YouTube, YouTube Premium.
Yeah,
You don't get any ads.
yeah. What happened is they started to grandfather in tiers that didn't previously exist
Mhm.
into these streaming services that then maybe you were paying for something
Yeah.
and then they changed it up on you. So it's like being a premium YouTube member and then immediately getting hit with ads still because they decided, you know what, for $10 more a month,
Mhm.
we'll end up changing this for you. But in every way that they tried to make the argument that cable was getting out of control with the costs, we are now way
Back.
past that point of no return now with all these streaming services. So
Yeah.
build up your collection. That is my biggest piece of advice there. But Daredevil Born Again, will I end up loving it? I don't know yet. I'm very much in a non-committed relationship with it.
That's okay. You're seeing how it goes.
I'm seeing how it goes. I think a lot of people are going to lose their mind over the first 15 minutes of Daredevil Born Again, and I didn't lose my mind. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay, very well acted, but some of the direction I'm not totally on board with. Some of the action looks a little bit too comic booky, a little bit too superhero-y, a little bit too like The Boys has really ruined a lot of superhero cinema
Uh,
and television for me. Because it
yeah.
points out like jokey stuff about what comic book movies do. And then when you see it done in a comic book movie, you're like, oh my gosh, The Boys is right about this.
Well, The Boys has also ruined The Boys.
That is correct. That's correct. Um, I do wish we could get more Jack Quaid in things. I don't know where he's been, but
Been under a rock.
yeah, not enough Jack Quaid in our lives. I'm kidding. He's got 2 movies out right now, Companion and Novocaine, which officially releases tomorrow. You got a chance to see it.
Officially releases the 14th.
Oh, the 14th. So I mean,
Yes,
we're
I got it. I got to see it early.
so Novocaine doesn't even come out this week.
Nope.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Nope. This week is Mickey 17, the Batista movie, Queen of the Ring. and a horror movie that I'm blanking on the name of, but it's got Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow.
Don't know, but no Novocaine this week. Okay, Novocaine next week. So we'll see how that goes. When does The Woman in the Yard come out?
April something, I think.
April something?
Let me double check on that.
I thought it was a March release. That's the only reason I asked. But I'm hoping that one's good. I like the
You are correct. March 28th.
March 28th. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more from that. But I really did like sort of the teaser that came out. I'm sure we'll get a big trailer here soon. Maybe there has been a trailer and I've just missed it. All right, let's play some 10 with Tim. I've got 10 questions. We've
Yeah.
got 2 individuals that want to give all of their most intricate answers possible. Let's start off with question number 1. Name something you do more often, e.g., if it didn't cost so much money.
Mm.
While you think and while
Yeah.
Tyler thinks, I'll give mine. Bowling. I would love to go bowling more often, but I feel like it's always an arm and a leg to go bowling, especially during times where you actually are able to go bowling.
See, here's my issue with bowling. When it's your turn to bowl, you have to leave the conversation. Like
Oh.
your distance between the seats and the lane is not some just inordinate distance, but it's just far enough where you're out of the conversation for your time bowling.
Tyler the conversationalist.
I would not
No,
expect that to be
I
a
just feel
complaint.
left out when I go to bowl
Interesting.
and all to do something that it like isn't very fun.
You know
Interesting.
what you should do? You should start bowling from your seat and just let it go the extra 10 yards. And then if you strike from that point, I mean, people will be really impressed.
Oh, that's true. That you got an
Or
idea.
you could end up breaking
Yeah.
some poor woman's ankle next to you that you end up bowling into, and then you'd be a part of a lawsuit. So probably not the best
Yeah.
advice. So, e.g., what's something that if it didn't cost so much, you'd do more frequently?
I feel like getting like a massage.
Massages?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only had a few, but I think I'd go, but I just can't really justify the cost because too, you don't know if you're actually going to like relax or enjoy it. So I think if it didn't cost so much though, I'd be more apt to, go get a massage.
Okay.
Relax.
Okay.
At Woodhouse.
Hamper yourself.
Tampa, yes.
Tyler? I don't know why I talked like a crazy person there, but I said hamper yourself, and I don't know why. Please start talking.
I mean, same as EG. Like I would get like massages and like actually take care of myself if it didn't cost so much.
Oh, that's nice. And Tyler's like, I wouldn't be
Like
in this horrible, decrepit state. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean the IV infusions and everything like that. I'd go all in if it didn't cost so much.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Health and wellness with Lionel.
There we have it. Next question. Tyler, what is your favorite movie that features Tom Hanks?
Oh.
Look up a list of movies Tom Hanks is in.
You know, yeah, if I started naming them off, EG,
Yeah.
you would know immediately.
No, I know. I
So-
just need a visual.
So my issue with Tom Hanks is he's got a lot of great movies, a lot of movies that I like, but I wouldn't say I like love any particular
Oh,
Tom
I have
Hanks
one.
movie other than maybe Toy Story.
Saving Private Ryan?
I like it a lot. It's a great movie, but I'd never go back to it.
Big?
I've actually never seen it.
Forrest Gump?
Same deal. It was fine, but I'd never go back to it.
Catch Me If You Can. That's mine.
Catch Me If You Can's great. He's got a good knock
That's
knock
a
joke.
great one. And then the other airplane one, Silly.
Well, I was actually going to say Castaway as well is another airplane one.
Wow,
'cause
he
he's in
has a lot of airplane material.
Oh, if Tom Hanks is traveling by plane or boat, it's not, you're not,
No.
it's not a good situation for the rest of the cast
No,
and crew.
it's not. So yeah, I would say Catch Me If You Can.
Okay.
It's a good one.
That is a good one.
All right. Next up here, I'm trying to think about what my favorite Tom Hanks. I really like The Burbs, which is a movie about Tom Hanks being in the suburbs.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. That is correct. And he's worried that his neighbors are murderers.
Oh.
And he has sort of a joint task force that he rounds up in the neighborhood. And it's darkly funny.
Oh, yeah, okay. That
It's from the same guy who did Joe Dante, who did Gremlins.
Okay.
Gremlins. So it's really, I love The Burbs.
Bright light.
That Thing You Do is another like really underrated Tom Hanks movie in my opinion, which is about a fictional band from the 60s that end up having a huge hit and they're basically one-hit wonders. But anyway, there's a couple of Tom Hanks movies that really, really hit. Next, number 3. What's a well-known retail store, Tyler, that you would say you have not been inside of in years?
Uh, Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works. Now, a
Yeah.
lot of people get Bath and Body Works and Bed Bath and Beyond mixed up.
Yes.
Haven't been there in years either.
They're out of
They're out of
business.
business. Yeah.
I was in Hoover yesterday, obviously, near 2nd and Charles, and I saw the Bed Bath and Beyond and the Big Lots next to each other.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, let's see if this Big Lots is open because I've heard they got some good deals on physical media if you can find one that's open. And both of them were shut down. So
Really?
both of them. Yeah.
Wow.
So, E.G., what's a well-known retail store you have not been inside of in years?
I was gonna say Best Buy.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Yeah.
not been inside of Best Buy in I don't know how long.
The last couple times I've gone in Best Buy was very sad because
Really?
it's not the Best Buy
Of
that it
old,
used to be.
whereas like all the screens, we talked about that, like all the like little displays.
I could have spent hours in a Best Buy and been thrilled back in the day.
Yeah.
Now I can't stand to spend 10 minutes in that store.
It's very depressing.
Very sad.
Bad lighting, empty shelves.
I mean, they basically made it like, hey, if you don't want to wait for Amazon to deliver, come in here
Yes.
and
Yep.
go ahead and pick it up. But it's kind of sad and we're not going to try to sell you on anything.
So true.
Just going to have some inventory.
Yeah. Oh, hate it.
Ugh. Next, if you were gifted, e.g., a free Corvette that's waiting out in the parking lot for you, what color would you choose?
All black.
An all black
I
Corvette.
saw one of those yesterday on my way back from Tuscaloosa. That is so weird. And I was like, that is such a pretty car. Yeah, all black.
So you thought about this.
I thought about it quite literally yesterday.
That's weird.
I know.
It would have been weirder had you seen a DeLorean out on
That
the
would
road.
have been weird. Yeah.
Tyler, you're gifted a free Corvette. What color is it?
I'm gonna go with that dark gray, like charcoal color they make.
Y'all are both going with sort of the darker tone colors. I want a red Corvette.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
iconic.
the Prince
Little
song?
red Corvette.
Maybe I've been singing too much Prince in my head, but give me a red Corvette.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It would be iconic.
I think so.
Your insurance would go up though. Red cars.
That is correct.
Mhm.
That is correct. Okay, next question. What's something kids today, e.g., wouldn't understand about your generation?
Ooh, what is something kids today? Okay, well, I feel like for mine, I was, despite popular belief, I lived without the iPhone.
Wow.
I know, crazy,
Whoa.
jarring.
How?
How did I do it? How did I manage?
Can't believe that. That's
I
the most
know.
vapid thing ever said in the history of this show.
I know. I know. I lived without a
Well-
touchscreen iPhone.
Back in my day, I had a few years of my life with no iPhone.
No iPod. No anything.
Didn't the iPhone come out in 2007?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I guess the better phrasing of this would be that was not mainstream for the tail end of my generation. So like up until, you know, early high school, I didn't have a iPhone.
that's fair. I'm being a jerk. I'm
No,
gonna-
that's
no,
okay.
no,
I'm gonna let you be that way.
no. This should only be reserved for when Hunter Bussey makes casting announcements. Okay,
Agree.
so I apologize.
Thank you.
That was a very astute answer,
No.
and I.
Well, we
am
are
sorry.
casting Bond villains today, so you should
We
get
are?
your chance.
Is Hunter in the chat today?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Anyway,
Shoot your shot, Hunter. Always shoot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Scott. This is what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. I feel like kids these days don't really understand that we had a time without it, and it really was awesome. Like, I'm very thankful that even though it was a very small amount of my life, I still got like playing outside experience. There were no iPad kids. Now everyone's an iPad kid.
Everyone's an iPad kid.
It sucks.
Tyler, what is something that kids today wouldn't understand about your generation?
So, kind of similar to EG, like this is before big touch screens and like a lot of streaming video. So, if you were trying to, get away with watching some Robot Chicken, some South Park or something like that, what you would have to do is you'd go to that channel and then you go find a cartoon channel. And that way there was a button where it'd be like last channel or previous or whatever, and you could just be on lookout real quick with your finger on the trigger,
I like it.
and you hear somebody coming up the stairs, boom. I was watching SpongeBob. I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I like it.
Okay.
I trust you less, but I like it.
Yeah.
That's what happens if you're a parent and you crack down on what your kids are allowed to watch on TV.
That's correct.
Let your kids watch SpongeBob. Don't let them be the weird kid that wasn't allowed to.
Here's another thing, like with the current state of physical media, back in the day, you used to be denied copies of things. Like you used to have to have parents buy you everything
Yeah.
because they would like, depending on who you were with. Like when I go into the video store, there would be people in there like, oh yeah, he's cool. We know him. Let's hit him up with, Ghoulies 2 or
Yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah.
Jason 7, there's no movie called Jason 7.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan, but like he's fine. But then I'd find that one employee who's new there and they'd be like, sorry, young man, but you're going to have your parents on the phone. And I was like, oh, really? You're going to put me through this whole thing? And anyway, I
Interesting.
got parental consent to watch that stuff at a young age, which is why we're all sitting here today.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
So thank you, Mom. I'm glad that we could be here so that way you could watch Tyler every day.
Amen.
Love you, Mom.
Love.
Tyler is loved by my mom. Next one here. Other than anyone who is currently in this conversation, Tyler, name someone who you love to compete and win against.
Oh,
Do you consider yourself a competitive person?
yeah. I am pretty competitive.
Now, I've seen it 1,000 times. We've played video games.
Yeah, yeah. Why are you looking shocked?
I'm not. There's a switch that flips in Tyler to where he wants to rip your spleen out. But that's normally when we're playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
But
it's all fair in that game.
he is super competitive, low key, like very casual in real life. And then you get into a game situation and I still hear stories about, Jim being sad about the way that you spoke to him during the Madden tournament here. Like you were supposedly trash talking him.
Wow.
Go back and watch that. He was saying some absolutely abhorrent things to
Oh,
me
he never does
on
that.
and off
No, he
camera.
never does it.
Don't let him fool you.
So, who do you love? Who's someone you love to defeat in a game of competition?
So the other week when I took that little trip to Atlanta, me and my sister went to the arcade. And we were striking out on all the claw games, so we went and played not Mortal Kombat, Mario Kart arcade machines. Have you
Two
played
very
that?
different games, yeah.
Yes,
Very.
very different games. Both MK abbreviations though.
Fair.
Have you played the arcade Mario Kart?
So, I think I have. I think this was at Disney World when we went.
Okay, yeah, you've got it like spins a wheel for your cart and your items, and you got an item button and steering wheel, and then gas pedal and brake, and that's it.
It's a very different type of experience.
Oh yeah, it's a lot different from any kind of like console Mario Kart you've ever played, but it changes the game in a way that I think makes it incredibly competitive. Like if we were playing on the console, if me and my sister were, well, I know a lot of the shortcuts because I've just played the game for longer. I was around to play Mario Kart 64. She was not.
This is the oldest y'all have ever sounded on the
know.
show
Oh.
before.
But Mario Kart Arcade randomizes everything, and it just makes it where I can't rely on any kind of knowledge of the game or like, oh, I'll do this cart or this bike. It's just luck of the draw, and I got to drive.
So,
A lot of fun.
were you successful in winning that or?
We did 3 races, and I won 2 out of 3.
Okay, there we go.
So your sister is the answer.
Yeah, it's always been. Oh yeah, I forgot the original question was. Who do you like to beat in competitive setting?
Yeah.
Actually, gonna switch it to my dad. We used to get really into playing Mortal Kombat.
Oh my gosh. So that's where it comes from.
Oh yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Shoot, that was my answer as my dad.
That's fine. I mean, as long as your answer's not Tyler's dad.
Yeah.
No.
It's not my dad.
No, beating my dad like in an argument or like a point proven is incredible.
It's another reason why Molly's game is so it's got to hit
It's
with you
just,
because
like,
that's all in there.
so
That's all
good.
in Molly's game where she's
But
just trying to best him the entire time.
yeah, but I love my dad. Like, he's incredible, my best friend. But being right about something, oh, it is like you savor it. And it's so awesome.
Got it.
Yeah.
I like how I just mentioned, like, oh, I'm playing Mario Kart,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, just having a good old time. We get competitive a little bit. And EG's like, no, I like proving people wrong and making them look stupid. I savor that moment.
I wish you could see Ichi at the poker table. She's gaining the reputation now where men 3 times her age are terrified of her. Terrified of her. She is scaring people because you have like this presence that I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's very much like it's just like you're waiting methodically to strike.
Pawns.
Like a pit viper. Yeah, okay. That scared me. Just
Black
that.
Widow, it was the other
Black Widow is what her nickname is. And
moniker,
I
yes.
at first I was like, that she's not Black Widow. And then I've seen she's Black Widow. She's
Yeah.
just straight up murderous at the table. Okay, next.
Hunter in the chat says EG scares me. That's fair.
Well,
Yeah. No.
what did Michael Scott say? I want people to fear how much they love me.
Correct. Correct. Okay, next question here. I'm nervous. If you were to curate a museum, e.g., based on one of your interests,
Ah, easy.
but you still feel
No.
like you could sell tickets to this museum,
Easy.
what theme would you choose?
Fashion.
History of fashion or
History of fashion. That
anything more
was
specific?
probably I would focus heavily on Chanel, and there's already a lot of World War II significance with her presence and what kind of inspired her and things like that. But I would do a designer heavy, like European American designers, and I would have it by era. Oh my gosh, this would be incredible. Like trying to like source all the bags. Shut up, stop. Everyone awake. Everyone awake.
Mhm.
I listen to movies, okay? You guys gonna listen to fashion. So, as I was saying,
Would it be mainly Chanel or would you include stuff
thank
like
you, Tyler.
Vivian Westwood or
Vivian.
not
I
a
don't
Vivian.
love
I
Vivian.
don't see you as a Vivian kind of person.
No, I'm not a Vivian Westwood girl, but that would have to be included for the more modern era. But yeah, it'd be a history of fashion, and I would do like in sports too. That would be like a little crossover. It'd be incredible. And Tim, I'll leave a ticket for you at the ballet.
Thank you. Pulling up in my red Corvette that I don't fit in, by the way, nor would I fit in anything in your museum.
No, my dad is a large human as well, and he loves Corvettes. He won't fit in them, so it's so sad.
How many other times can you look at somebody in the eye and go, my dad's also a blank human, and that blank human thing doesn't seem weird to say, right?
Yeah, that's so true. Anyways,
Tyler, you're going to curate a museum of one of your passions. Like for me, it would be Batman. I'd want a Batman museum. A supreme. Now, I never saw this coming. A supreme museum.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be anime.
I mean,
It'd be fun.
you could do that, but you got still tickets over here, and I'd rather take a walk through the history of Supreme, seeing all the rare pieces from the original shop tees in 1994 to the different sort of collaboration knockoff looking tees they made in the early 2000s that got them cease and desist letters from companies like Burberry and Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and then later ending up getting to work with Louis Vuitton and Burberry. And so there's just a ton you can do with it, like all the old Takashi Murakami stuff as well. Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to.
Mhm.
Look, let me finish what I'm about to say before y'all jump on me here, okay? I'm going to finish what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I've never seen you two more aligned in a game of 10 with Tim than today,
Yeah.
where it's like, what color Corvette you want? Oh, a dark Corvette. I'd also want a dark Corvette. Okay. What would you spend more money on? If a massage, I'd also want a massage.
Our time.
Okay. What would you curate a museum of? Fashion, also fashion. Okay.
Argument.
Who do you want to beat in competition? Dad. I mean, did you guys like just come in today and go like, you know what? Let's just have the same answers the entire time. Is that the plan? Was that the plan?
No, I haven't talked to Lionel today.
Yeah. Catch me if you can. That is right. Catch me if you can. Okay. Let's
What
mix
would
it
your
up.
museum be? Oh, Batman. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, it would be Batman.
I would go. I hope you'd leave me a ticket too.
Oh, no, because there would be movies there, E.G. I would be talking about movies. Ugh. You're like the Grinch on Mount Crumpet. Your green jacket. Damn you. Ugh, all the who's in their movies. Ugh. Next,
Movies.
Tickles.
movies. That is correct. I don't like these movies. Ah,
That was good.
Send me no hope.
That was good.
Thank you. I've worked on
Oh.
it. We go to this.
I'd like some roast beast.
Some people sing in the shower. I Grinch in the shower.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Max, my sleigh. I must stop Christmas.
It's actually really good.
It's
Thank
really good.
Okay, I just need the suit now.
Yeah. You
Do that for Halloween.
you should.
You really,
You
yeah.
could get paid to do that. Makes it
Okay.
that was good.
All right, I'm done. I'm done.
No.
I'm done.
One more.
No, it's all
Give me
on
the-
camera. I
come on.
realized I forgot we were doing a show. This is all happening. People are watching. Let's stop.
Everybody, make sure you go through the live cast and screenshot Tim's Grinch
Grinch,
impression
yeah.
or screen record it and just share it with your friends. You know,
Please.
promote the show. Say, look at this wacky show. You've got to come and join in on the fun.
Agreed.
Okay. Next question. Gosh, we're almost through with this, I promise. Question number 9. No, 8. Oh my gosh. Question number 8. Is there anything special, Tyler, with the routine you fall into when you pump gas? Is there anything special you do that we would watch you pump gas out in the wild and we'd be like, well, that's interesting?
I feel like the only thing I do that wouldn't just be pumping gas is, you know how sometimes, like, if you're filling it all the way up, the car will recognize that it's full and stop the gas pump.
Right.
So I, for some reason, I don't like seeing, like, $34.72 or whatever. So I'll fill it up to the next whole dollar amount.
Oh, you'll force the gas tank to take the amount of gas that makes your eye happy with the total you see on the screen.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. That is now that we would have never known
No.
had I not asked this weird question that you thought there would be no answer to.
I was about to say you forced me to think about things that I never would think about.
Okay.
Y'all would not find anything particularly intriguing about the way I pump gas, except I am very observant of my surroundings. So I probably look a little manic as I make sure no one is.
No, pumping gas, I mean, that's like one of those places where it's like, well, I don't have a choice. I've got to be vulnerable here.
Yeah, the best way to protect yourself whilst pumping gas is to limit your just area of what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, instead of standing out in the open while pumping gas, just lean up against your car and no one can sneak up on you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the word? The area of
perimeter.
your perimeter. You shorten your perimeter.
Got it.
Yeah, by just leaning up against your car.
I think it would be tighten. You tighten your
Yeah,
perimeter.
you tighten your perimeter by going from 360 to 180.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less angles you can be approached.
Yeah,
from.
it's a more tactical stance, if you will.
I have people walk up to me all the time. This happened yesterday, and I'm so tired of it. I go to Second and Charles to get the mystery box. I almost get first. There's a woman that almost runs me over. Okay.
How?
Well, I'm walking. I see her. She's going fast, right?
Big car?
She's in a big white SUV.
Oh Lord.
She's driving, and I'm exiting my car, and she's driving. Okay, so she's in this
Yep.
lane, and she's going fast.
Yep.
Way too fast for a parking lot. See how fast that's going?
That's pretty
It's way
fast.
too fast for a parking lot. I've got long legs, but if I don't stop, I'm going to end up Frogger. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. So I stop. Well, what does she do?
Zooms.
No, she stops right here. So I'm like, okay, really? I mean, you've seen I've stopped. Okay, thanks.
So then you do the hand.
So I'm like, yeah, I do the hand. You're right. I did the
Yeah.
hand like, oh,
Mhm.
please don't hit the
Yeah.
accelerator.
Yeah.
I then walk in front of her car towards the store. She's still here. She swoops into a spot right here. Boom, angrily, like whoosh, whoosh.
That's pretty fast.
Okay.
Whoosh.
Now
Yep.
the door is where you're at. So I'm walking to the door.
Yeah.
She rolls down her window.
How tall are you?
No, she doesn't do that.
Oh,
That would make sense. Hey, hey. And I'm like, is she about to yell at me because I did the hand thing and I walk like
yeah.
so I can't hear her, so I have to walk back to
Oh,
her,
no.
right? And she's like, "Do they sell neckties in there?"
At Second and Charles?
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, sorry? She's like, "Is that a men's clothing store?"
No. No.
Like, what do they she kept saying, like, "What do they sell in there? What do they sell in there? They have neckties? What do they sell in there? Do they have neckties?" She's frantically asking me about neckties. And I'm like,
That's almost like kind of concerning.
it's like they have
Advertise something right now, right now.
it's like there's physical media, there's comic books, there's DVDs, and then, it's like, obviously you're not a Meltdonian.
Duh.
But she's like, "Oh, so no neckties." I'm like, "No
No.
neckties, lady. No
No.
neckties.
No
I'm sorry."
ties.
Yeah, doesn't it say bookstore on the building?
Don't know. She gets frustrated, backs up, drives off. But I actually apologized to her that they don't sell neckties at Second and Charles.
Wow.
It's like, "I am so sorry, ma'am. They do not sell neckties here."
Can you
I
imagine
apologize.
if she clipped you?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
I've been clipped by a car.
Me too, EG.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Six?
EG. You
No,
go first.
no. Y'all. There's no way y'all have the same exact life experiences on 10 with Tim. Every single life experience is the same.
So I was in high school, and me and my best friend McCartney, we were in our get fit era, so we're like running. Hate running. Why I don't run is partially the story. It was a white SUV, and we were at a crosswalk, and so we were by Kennesaw Mountain, and so it was like one of those little crosswalks that it was only over the person that's well, let me do it this way. Hold on. I'm dyslexic. So this is the white car. They're going this way, but the intersection is still going this way. So there's a little baby crosswalk right here. And then you cross the full intersection because they're turning right. And so we're walking, and she was stopped looking, and we're in the crosswalk, and she bumped us. Full on bumped us. And her son was in the passenger seat, and she freaked out and left. And
Hit and
she
run?
hit and run. She bumped us.
Is it bump and
It
run?
was a bump and run.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That really was not very climactic, but I got clipped.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Yep. And then for other circumstances, I had to go to the ER that night, and so then everyone thought that I got hit by a car at school. That was the rumor.
For other circumstances. What happened that day? That sounds like a bad day.
I went to one of my odd jobs was I did concessions,
Is that a James Bond reference?
and I don't know.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Random task. Continue.
One of my random tasks was I was a concession consultant, if you will, at the local ballpark. And so I didn't really get people's food, but I just kind of would like inspire them to buy something. And I got food poisoning. Yeah. Lived many lives.
Think about all the other people who got food poisoning because you kept jamming,
Corn
nachos
nuggets.
down there.
Yeah, I know. Gross.
Gullet.
Yeah.
Concession consultant. Only EG could hold a title like that. I'm the concession consultant. I don't deal with the food. That's not my thing. I deal with the people.
I didn't deal with like the checking out either.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did.
Tyler's like, I work till 3 a.m. making,
Bro.
Mexican pizzas.
Yes. Not even 3 a.m. 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Sorry.
4 a.m.
Sorry.
Then got up for a 9 a.m. class.
And EG's like, put on makeup and I recommend condiments to people. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's a real job?
It was.
Man, I had to ask if Taco Bell or answer if Taco Bell sold applesauce and chocolate milk.
Oh.
By the way, if you're at a Taco Bell and if you're
Ew.
jonesing for some chocolate milk and some applesauce, your dietary issue is
Oh my God.
very extreme.
People are dumb. They don't know how to read.
Can I get one of them Baja chocolate milks?
Oh, gross.
All I imagine now is seal as a seal in my head.
Wait, let's hear your clipping story.
Oh yeah. I was in like 3rd grade and it was
Oh.
Halloween. I was heading to the bus that morning
No way.
and somebody ran a stop sign in my neighborhood and hit me.
Okay, that is Tyler, that's traumatic.
Did you sue?
Did you
No, I don't know what the legal thing was. I don't think we did anything.
did you go to school that day?
No, I went to the hospital and there were like tendons and stuff in my knee that were like knocked loose. It was real weird.
This
And
is not
then like when
legal.
I played soccer for for the next few years after that. I played soccer for a lot longer, but for a few years after the me getting clipped, I had to wear a knee brace because sometimes my knee would just like fully pop out of place. And if your knee's out of place, it doesn't really want to bend so you can keep running. So it would just pop out of place and I'd hit the ground.
Were the police ever called, or was there ever? I mean, they just hit you and kept going.
They stuck around, and my neighbor, who was also at the bus stop that morning, was like screaming at him, but there was a language barrier, so
Oh,
the
no.
the dude didn't understand what my neighbor was saying. Um, I should clarify. My neighbors were from the Philippines, and he had just got he was so mad that that dude ran the stop sign and hit me that he just reverted into his native language to cuss the guy out.
Gotcha.
This is crazy. So, Tyler, you got hit by a car, not clipped by a car.
You got,
I mean, it wasn't like it ran me over, but yeah.
I mean, did you bounce? I mean, like, you just.
I mean, like the people who were there said when I got hit, it like made me spin around, and then I was on the ground.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember getting hit.
what's the statute of limitations on
I
this
know.
sort of
I think
thing?
you kind of need to. I think it's 7 years.
Ugh, feel like
I don't like that you knew that off the top of your head.
I'm telling you, killer.
Anyways, wow, that is crazy, Tyler. Were you like fearful of walking after that? Or walking to the bus stop?
Not really.
Tyler, you're the most chill.
I don't know.
I mean, you're
don't
chill
know.
until you start playing video games, and then oh my gosh! But yeah, you should have
Wow.
sued the pants off of that
Yeah.
person.
You would've
Male,
got-
Well,
female.
I was 8, so it's not like I was responsible for filing the lawsuit.
Young, old? How old was it?
They were an adult. They were like of the age where like they probably could have had a kid
Male,
around
female?
my age. It was male.
Yeah.
Wow. What type of car?
I
You gonna
want
put out a
to
bolo? What are
I
we gonna?
want to say it was like maybe like Honda Odyssey size.
A minivan?
Yeah, like minivan size. Like not like one of the big honking SUVs. It wasn't like an expedition or anything, but it was like like sliding doors minivan kind
I
of.
don't
Wow.
want to discriminate,
Yeah.
but I'm going to.
Okay.
That person that you described fits the profile of someone who pulls into a Taco Bell wanting applesauce and chocolate milk.
Oh, absolutely.
1000%. Yes, minivan?
They probably live in San Antonio, Florida, and send us a bunch of eBay boxes full of DVDs that their kids don't watch anymore.
Probably. Wow. Got to the bottom of that.
Question number 9. This segment's supposed to be 10 minutes long.
It's not been 10 minutes.
We're all in story mood today.
We are.
By the way, I do want to point out that this all came from. Is there anything special about the routine you fall into when you pump gas? The one that got the most physical reaction from EG ever of why ask such a dumb question. And we got 35 minutes worth of answers. So apologize to me right now. I'm not kidding.
Did I really react?
Oh, yeah. When I asked the question, like,
I don't
There
think
was some disgust.
I apologize.
and then
Tim.
Tyler gives a very intricate answer, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, we wouldn't know. Anyway, I hate when the
Okay.
video starts playing and you can't get it off the video and get the mute, and
Oh,
you're
I
trying to
hate
find
that.
which button is the mute because
Yeah.
it's all faded. It's awful.
Yeah.
Next question. When was the last time, EG, you were on a bicycle?
New Year's. Bike riding, Seaside.
Yeah, you bike ride every single time you go to Seaside? It's
Yep.
like a tradition?
Primary transportation.
Got it. Tyler, when was the last time you were on a bicycle?
Probably 15-ish years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was never a big
Third grade
just never a big bike rider.
after the clipping.
No,
I-
never was at all.
Oh, I had my brother-in-law Jeff come over to service our bikes, and because he's a bike enthusiast. Why is that so funny? There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about that. Now, if I'd done it in Grinch voice, service my bikes, I would understand that. But he came over to service our bikes, and I don't have a bike because I can't find one that's.
She pointed and laughed.
I was thinking about.
I finally found a bike that fit me 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. In a Walmart, I found one that fit me, and I started riding it all around the store. And my wife was so embarrassed. She was like, "You got to quit."
Was it one of the mongoose bikes with the pegs on it?
No.
Start doing some
Oh.
bunny hops.
No, it was not.
Ooh.
Just imagine you're shopping at Walmart trying to find a deal, and some 9-foot giant appears around a corner on a bike, hauling ass through the aisles. Okay? I'm talking about just like, imagine like the reverse of the saw puppet. You know, like the little saw puppet on a tricycle, but imagine just like a King Kong comes at you on a bicycle. It probably jarred a lot of people.
Oh. You're probably a household story. Like,
Probably.
when families are like, oh my gosh, remember that one time? You're that one time.
I wanted to test drive it to make sure it would work with my knees. Because what happens is my knees hit the handlebars
Yep.
and it sends me over, toppling. Or anyway, what I'm getting to is I don't have a bike, but my wife has a bike, and I said, you know what? Let me see if this works for me. And I get on there, and I went knees out like this,
Oh no.
biking around the cul-de-sac. And my daughter thought it was very funny. My wife thought it was very funny. But it's like an old school bike that like
Oh.
someone would deliver newspapers on in the 30s.
Big wheels.
They keep on turning. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Last question. What's a television show, Tyler, that kind of freaked you out at one point in your life?
Mm.
It could be when you were very young. It could be now. It could be 10 years ago.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Wow, I was not expecting that one.
That's good. Have you watched much Courage the Cowardly
I really
Dog?
haven't.
So let me break it down. So you've got a farm in the middle of nowhere. This old couple, Eustace and Muriel, they live out on the farm, and they have a dog. His name is Courage, and there's a bunch of wacky monsters that come out there, and it's got some actually spooky scenes for a children's show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very famous one where there's a guy in a robe and a weird mask, and he's just standing out in the middle
Ooh,
of
scary.
nowhere. You see the dust blowing in the middle of the night, and he's just
You're
going.
freaking me out, Tyler.
He's just going,
Uh-huh.
return the slab.
The slab?
Yeah, the slab.
That piece of cake? Slab of
I
cake?
forget what it was. Some sort of artifact. It's been a while since I've seen that episode. Great show though, like legitimately great show.
Legitimately great answer. PG.
Golden age of Cartoon Network.
So there was a show on USA, and it was not White Collar. It wasn't Burn Notice.
Silk stockings.
Maybe. And there was a scene in this show where this guy was sitting down, kind of similar to the James Bond Casino Royale torture scene. But he was sitting down, and the guy comes up and punched him in the face. And it was like a slow-mo shot of it. And I've never been able to get that visual out of my head, but I don't know what the show was. But I just remember being so freaked out by it. And that is awful. And the blood came out of his mouth. It's gross.
Was it interesting? There's no way for me to know
Was it
what show it was.
Suits? It was one. It was
Definitely
early,
a television show, not a movie.
definitely television show on USA. And he's sitting in a white wife beater tank top, and then he's covered in bruises and blood, and he has his hands tied behind his back, and the guy comes up and punches him, but it's like a head-on shot. And it's gross.
I don't know.
Daniel says Royal Pains? Question mark.
Oh my gosh, I remember that show. That was on USA, but not that one.
Not that one.
Nope.
Okay.
Not White Collar. Burn Notice. Have y'all seen Burn Notice? We've talked about this.
I'm not a big no, I haven't watched a lot of USA. I
Raw.
watch Raw. I watched WWE Raw on there until now they're on Netflix.
My grand's a big Burn Notice fan.
Really?
Yeah. She loves all of the detective shows, the true crime shows,
Burn Notice.
CSI, everything like that.
Oh, Michael Weston, one of my favorite characters. Fiona Glenann.
There were two for me. Unsolved Mysteries back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Really creepy, very smoky.
Yeah, I can see the.
I don't remember the name of the host, but I remember the host very specifically.
Mhm.
He always wore that brown duster.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And he'd walk out.
And it would be very
Yeah.
smoky and foggy, and
Yeah.
they'd tell the story, and it'd be flashback story, but it was pretty well produced and eerie voice, and it's this person is still out there today.
Oh, scary.
If you find them, this is their information and their last known location. Call this number, or the FBI is looking for them, or whatever. And now, there's Unsolved Mysteries and there's America's Most Wanted, right?
Yeah.
They both sort of served a similar purpose, but Unsolved Mysteries played up the horror element of it.
for sure.
And the other one played up more of the true crime solving element of it.
Another one with a really, really good narrator, Forensic Files.
Mm.
Ugh.
Great narrator. That gravelly voice.
I couldn't do any of those shows. Like First 48, all of those. Oof.
Yeah.
Well, too much of First 48 happens here in town for me to want to watch it.
I saw the first four. So, story time. Went to Gatlinburg.
Tennessee.
Go sit down at one of them restaurants that's going to serve you a meat and three.
A little dino.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
3.
I'm in there. We're getting ready to eat. It's like the Apple Farm or something is what it's called. And waiter comes up, "Where are you folks from?" Because he probably asked that to everybody. And we're like, down the road, Birmingham, Alabama. "Oh, Birmingham. Yeah, that's where they filmed the first 48. And I'm like,
Oh no.
I was like, "You're actually right. I saw them. I was driving into work. No, I was driving home from work, and there was the way they film it is there was an ambulance that was like,
Wee-oo.
correct, flashing its lights, and there was a camera crew on back of a convertible that was filming
Really?
it, trailing. Yeah. And the camera guy's like up on the back, and they're following the ambulance. And sure enough, in the footage, there it is. That's how
Wow.
they film that. But yeah, First 48 loves Birmingham, Alabama because
I did not know
Smuff
that.
says, was it the Apple Barn?
the Apple Barn. That's
Yep.
where it was.
Wow.
Apparently, I guess Smuff's been there.
But that waiter was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to know everything about the First 48 you can tell me." And I'm like, "Well, I'm so proud to be from this city. If that's our claim to fame."
I feel like that is something that pops up whenever you meet somebody from anywhere that's not here, and they're like, and they don't really know a whole lot about Birmingham. They've never visited. They're just like, First 48.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Jordan that one time for the Bears.
Now it's Highway Baby.
Well,
Oh yeah, I forgot
I've
about
got
that.
a lot of Highway Baby.
it at least was for a hot minute. I don't know if it's still Nurse Who Saw the Baby on the Side of the Highway thing.
In the last
Well, they
year,
made the
I've
movie.
They did.
Oh, we watched that?
No, I
No.
don't want to watch that. I really don't. There's
Even
no.
I haven't watched that.
That's saying something.
That's one piece of physical media that I will never own unless it happens to be in a mystery box. Which, if it is,
Oh.
I don't know if they made physical media of that. That would be a good one to have.
they did not.
No, that would be a good one to have.
Watch I get a burned version of it.
Oh my god.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Bootleg version of The Nurse Who Saw the Baby on the Highway.
That was the name of it? A
Yeah.
long title.
I believe that was.
I think it's called The Nurse Who Saw the Baby on the Side of the Highway. I believe that's what it's called.
So,
The Nurse That Saw the Baby on the Highway.
Oh, it's not the side of?
I always add it on the side of.
What
when I'm
is she up
describing
to?
it
Is she behind bars?
Carly Russell's her name.
Carly Russell?
And she basically got a slap on the wrist. And, her reputation obviously is.
Oh, yeah. We heard about
damaged,
that
but
across the border in Atlanta.
is that your Georgia accent coming through?
Kind of just felt good. We heard about it. It was
I was
crazy.
thinking to myself, is Paula Deen from Georgia?
She is.
She is, yes.
That was a perfect Paula Deen. You're Paula Deen with migraine.
Savannah?
Yeah, Savannah. Thank you, EG. I blanked on it.
Baby, put a little butter in that hoo hash. Okay. I like the idea of Al Pacino saying hoo hash.
Yeah.
Hash.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know what's being picked up by our mics, but
Crazy.
what's happened today?
I don't know.
Lack of oxygen? Or
That
Maybe.
delirium from
haven't
yesterday
eaten.
is just
Think so.
carried over.
guys, congratulations. Historically, the longest edition of 10 with Tim ever. But
My
the stories were
gosh.
just too good.
I just looked at the time.
Way too long. We have so much more show to produce, which is unfortunate for.
Haven't even gotten to the thing that's in the thumbnail
Right.
and in the title of the episode.
If you loved the idea of what we were going to do on today's show and you've skipped ahead, this is the point where you need to watch from this point forward. If you're watching on replay and you're like, I really would love that James Bond discussion.
I feel like we haven't even locked in. Like we have to
No.
lock in now.
On the thumbnail. Who's on the thumbnail again?
It's you and me.
Lionel.
What?
Who else is on the thumbnail?
Jaws.
There we
There
go.
it is.
If you're looking for someone to work on your jaws, You realize how disappointed I was when he said you and me, and I was like, well, there goes the segue. If you're looking for someone to work on your jaws, maybe head on over to our mouth experts as we encourage you to reach out to the dental team that we trust most. We hope you have double O cavities, meaning 0 cavities, when you go visit the team over at Alabama Dental Associates. But they'll fix you up if you got a cavity that needs to be worked on there on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates. They provide you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. I can hear EG chewing right now.
You can? I'm sorry.
Which, no, it's okay. That's good during a time like this. Because if you want to chew with confidence, you need to go to Alabama Dental Associates. They'll help you out there, whether it's major work or maybe you just need to get on top of those regular cleanings. They're there for you. If you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental for yourself. As they are accepting new patients now, call them at 205-956-8977. That's 205-956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. It is now time for an official unveiling of Lionel's List, and EG has never been more prepared for a potential Lionel's List than this one, where we're talking Bond villains. Now,
Heck yeah.
you just watched Casino Royale for the very first time.
I did.
An iconic Bond villain, Le Chiffre, played by Mads Mikkelsen in that movie,
Bloody eyeball.
leads from the eyeball. That is correct, especially during high-stress situations.
Horrible tell.
That is correct. You wouldn't have known even what a tell was a year ago, and here you are as someone who's dominating me in the poker season, and I can't stand it. You know what that is now.
Yes.
But yeah, Mathis in that movie constantly leans over and talks about the poker elements to try to catch up the general audience that doesn't know about poker, but you're probably like, I already know. Quit mansplaining all these hands to me, Mathis.
Mathos.
But anyway, I love Casino Royale, but I also love the James Bond franchise overall, and I have tasked Tyler with this, without knowing who the next James Bond will be, because that's a very important piece of the puzzle, which is why Tyler's really not working with a full slate of evidence here of what to do. I want him to give us a mix of the 5 actors or actresses that you'd most want to see as the main villain for the next era of 007. Now, I'm really kind of looking at this as like, let's say there's 5 new movies that come out with a new Bond. All 5 of these could play in different parts, different chapters. I want to hear a really strong list here. The choices are ineligible if they've ever acted in a Bond movie before, so you couldn't pick somebody like Javier Bardem because he's been a Bond villain.
So, if you'll recall earlier today,
I don't know.
you'll remember that I said, I have something funny to tell you. Yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of it. So, chat, I have only seen Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and GoldenEye. And when you gave me this list, I'm thinking, all right, who would be a good villain? So I go, one of a person who's widely considered to be one of the greatest villains of all time. Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem.
You really went with Javier Bardem? I didn't know that.
That's where I thought at first. I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. And then I looked up, like, let me double check, make sure he hasn't been in Bond. I'm like, oh, he was in Skyfall. No wonder everybody loves that one.
I want to shake you by the shoulders. I'm worried the damage that I'll do and that you will actually then sue someone.
Yeah.
But I want you to watch Skyfall so badly because it is very good. You watched Quantum of Solace and gave up, and I understand. But Skyfall is so very good. You need to watch it. So you have to give us someone who's never been in a Bond movie before. Also, you have to sort of give us a style of what kind of villain they would be. And I want you to rank these by level of menace, and we will see where you go. Let's start off with number 5.
So, number 5, this is someone we saw miss out on their chance at awards this past weekend. We saw him last year as someone who was ruthless, could mentor other people to become ruthless, to, just really take no prisoners in any aspect of life. And I'm, of course, talking about Jeremy Strong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I could see him as just a cold, hard killer.
I love it.
And, in the picture I pulled, he's already got a suit. He already looks dressed to kill. I think he would do a great job as maybe a businessman of some sort, a CEO, someone looking to protect their interests,
Love it.
or actually with his hair and kind of his facial features, I could see maybe rogue MI6 agent from Jeremy Strong.
Okay.
I love it.
All right, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's very strong. I worry that's a bad pun. I worry that the list is too good too quick now because you
Mm.
got 4 other slots, and I love this choice because people would actually believe that he was capable of doing horrible, obscene things based on just his level of intensity in his
Oh
performances.
yes,
So
he always brings intensity.
he was amazing as Ray Cohn in The Apprentice. Amazing.
Yes.
Let's move on to number 4.
Number 4. So this person was actually one of the top choices, well, at least for fans, to play Bond. I think that time's passed, but I think this person could still really bring a mixture of sophistication, ruthlessness, and just cunning manipulation to the role. I'm talking about Idris Elba. I think it'd be a
Ooh.
cool homage to the Bond we could have gotten to have him as the villain in the next Bond. We've seen him in The Wire as Stringer Bell, planning his takeover of Baltimore, taking it over corner by corner, growing his profits, his influence, even trying to get into politics in that series. So I think he would be a great villain in James Bond.
Some say I'm a tough grader.
Some would say.
So far, Tyler's pitching a perfect game. So
Wow.
far, Tyler's pitching a perfect game. Excellent choice, especially since he's been rumored to play Bond for so long. He's fought some backlash from that already.
Mhm.
Him coming in and being the main Bond villain, especially in this new era where
Mhm.
they've tried to get Idris Elba in there multiple times, this would be epic.
Okay.
So I'm all about Idris Elba playing the heavy in the next James Bond movie or one of the next James Bond movies. Great choice.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
I'm I'm not now listen, if you end up crapping out for your remainder 3, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes this work. It's like you'll know when I'm genuinely excited. So far, I'm signing off on both of those. Let's keep the party going. I'm worried that you're gonna run out of hits here.
All
You feel
right.
confident in the next 3?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
I think I got this.
okay.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Moving on. We've talked about Idris Elba, who was rumored to play Bond 10 years ago. How about somebody who's an up and comer? Someone who has proved himself in being a menacing character. I believe this person also has the look to play a Bond villain. Maybe not the big bad necessarily, but he could definitely be a secondary villain or maybe even the main with the way his trajectory's been. I'm talking about Barry Keoghan. I think he's got the European flair. He's got the style. Um, he's got that hair that somehow just looks perfect for a Bond villain. And earlier this year, I saw a movie that not many people know about called Bring Them Down. And it is a tense thriller about Irish sheep farmers. And
What?
he is absolutely menacing in this. And he does a great job as the villain. Also in the 2022 The Batman, he played the Joker, so he's gotta be able to be menacing if you're gonna cast him as the Joker. Any comments, concerns?
Um, he's crazy
Yeah,
on screen.
yeah.
You need to see Saltburn.
I still haven't seen Saltburn.
That is still his all-time crazy performance.
Okay.
But yeah, still pitching perfect game. 3 for 3
This
so
is
far.
crazy.
Now I worry about his Joker. I do because of what we've seen not only in the Batman but also in that deleted scene that they put out. And I was like, oh, I'm glad this was deleted because I don't really like this.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
think it's very good.
that extra scene was not very good.
I don't think it's very good. And I really hope they lean into every character type in the Batman except for the Joker because the Joker doesn't really excite me in that universe. But 3 for 3 so far. Let's keep it going.
Moving on. just missing the cut. I originally had this person as number 3 and Barry Keoghan as number 2, but I think this person has proven themselves a little bit more in the past to play this kind of role. One of my favorite franchises in the modern era, you could say, is John Wick. Here in the last John Wick, we got somebody as the villain, Bill Skarsgård, and they embody the sadistic nature of someone who rules the high court of assassins while also still having that sophistication and class to them. Not to mention, last year we also saw Bill Skarsgård in Nosferatu as Count Orlok, where he truly was menacing, although you could argue costuming and makeup did a lot of the heavy lifting there.
First miss for me, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest.
Have to be.
You're right. We saw it in John Wick. And if there's anything Bond needs to do, it's not try to fall into the pressure of trying to keep up with John Wick. And I think that that's the best version of him in that villainous suit wearing role that you could possibly get. I thought his performance in John Wick was great, which is what sort of has inspired you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in order for him to separate himself in a Bond movie, I don't know if you can have somebody going up against John Wick, Bond. You know, it's like
true.
it's like sharing it's like Ethan Hunt. You can't have Ethan Hunt villain be the same as a Bond villain. They kind of all share this sort of unwritten rule we can't share villains, I feel. But that's the only reason, because he's already been burned.
Anyway.
Yeah. But he's been on a heater minus the Crow.
I agree with that 100%.
But it really wasn't his fault.
No, the Crow was not his fault. The Crow was on pretty much everybody but Bill Skarsgård.
I'm happy you didn't pick FKA Twigs or whatever her name is.
God,
Because if you'd picked
she was
her,
awful.
if you picked her in this, I would have just walked out of the ring. So I understand why you're going here, but Hunter loves it, of course.
Yeah, let's go, Hunter.
Hunter's all about bad casting. Let's continue on. Number 1. This is your number
No.
1 coming up, if I'm not mistaken here. Number 1.
So we've talked about up and comers, people who were already rumored to be Bond villains. I don't know if this person has actually been rumored, but you know what? We've gotten a lot of solid villainous performances from this actor. Weird voices, even. Talking about Tom Hardy, and I've gone ahead and casted him as the modern day Jaws.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Tom Hardy's not big enough to play Jaws, first and foremost. Like,
that's what they said when Dark Knight Rises was being made. He's not big enough to be Bane.
kind of correct, though. Like, part of it is
to be
correct.
fair, I do prefer the luchador, the dumb luchador Bane over
yeah.
the Dark Knight Rises Bane, but
I like Tom Hardy's Bane. He was looked at more as a circus strongman. But you're talking about recasting an iconic character in Jaws with Tom Hardy. You know what? The more I think about it,
No way.
I don't hate it. The more I think about it, but it's just the size. He would get ripped apart. You can't do it twice and get away with it.
Tom Cruise plays people who are not 5'4", and it still works.
Tom Cruise is 5'4".
Yeah, he's very short.
Wow.
He's like 5'6" at most.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Top Gun has moved to her third favorite movie of all time, and by that I mean both Top Gun movies in the same place at the exact same time. But if you say Top Gun Maverick is her favorite movie, it's actually Top Gun. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, but then a year ago it was Top Gun Maverick. So I don't know. I can't keep up with each.
It's okay.
But I'm gonna have to really sit on that for a little bit because I just don't think size-wise he would be able to get away with it. So yeah, Tim Melton is Jaws. On a bicycle. Being on a bicycle.
Oh yeah, somebody in the chat, let me find it. It was great. They said
No. What are you about to read Smuffs? Pittsburgh? Don't do that.
No, I did think about that one though. Charles, he says, I have an image of my head of Tim on a penny farthing yelling at passersby in his Grinch voice.
That is correct.
It's a good image.
Overall solid list. I've got to sit on number 1. I got to sleep on that one. Okay? Because that's an iconic role that you're recasting with a guy that just physically doesn't have the same attributes.
What was I to do? Just invent a bunch of new villains? Didn't we get Blofeld?
Yeah, we did.
Recast?
We did.
Okay, so let's recast some more. Those movies are 60 years old at this point.
Tyler, take the win here, man. I just think there's a difference between if you're going to remake something like, you know, The Karate Kid, which they've done successfully, basically reinvented it, reimagined it, relaunched it, reinvigorated it, and James Bond. You have to be you have to be careful because there's a backlash there that you don't want to anger the base of your fandom. And so I need to sit on that one for a while. I still think Tom Hardy, definitely if Christopher Nolan's directing, Tom Hardy is the big bad in that, works really well. I'm just not
Mhm.
sure as Jaws. That's the only thing. And then I do not like Skarsgård on there because we've already seen what he's done, unless you have him heavy prosthetics. And then I start to warm up to it because he can get
I mean,
lost in
I
the
mean,
character.
we can make a whole new
I'm-
face for him and have him go like scar over the eye patch,
How
whole
about
deal.
him as Nosferatu in a Bond movie? Let's just do that.
Oh,
So here's what I'm going to do.
as long
Tyler,
as he's got that one prosthetic.
I want the chat. I want the chat to see what I'm about to do. Tyler, you get an A+ for this list. Congratulations. A+.
Wow.
The only thing that's a slight nitpick is I would have liked you to have one of these slots at least. I would have liked one of them to be a female, just to
Ah,
show that, like, you could pick, like, we talked about Fernanda Torres a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Like, her dream is to play the assistant to the villain, like, where she goes, okay, Mr. Bond, he's ready to see you. And, like, that's her dream role.
That'd be fun.
I would love to see her as the main villain, though. I would love to see, like, a menacing, like, everything that they promised Amanda Waller's going to be with Viola Davis, which she has not been pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that with a Bond villain. So, sort of like a reverse M situation, like an evil Judi Dench, you know. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Hey, what did you think of Mads Mikkelsen in the bad guy role in Casino Royale? Like, I know you
liked
didn't
it.
like the torture scene,
No, but I liked it. It was very convincing.
but I mean, he's pretty good in the
Yeah,
role, right?
yeah. I mean, I believed fully that he was not a good person to be on a yacht with.
Yeah, and he just kept losing money.
Yeah.
Just kept getting into a bigger and bigger
Oh,
hole.
I was so stressed out for him.
Right, he was losing lots of money that wasn't his.
Yes.
So that was a big
yes.
problem for him. All right, that is going to do it here for the Meltdown. Guys, a epic show today.
How fun was this?
A 90-minute edition of the Meltdown.
Look at us.
I know. We've come a long way.
We have.
It's been a lot of fun. Chat, you've been great. We appreciate all those that are watching here. And make sure you keep a lookout there in the podcast section or whatever your favorite podcast platform is. Because if you are an Apple Podcast user, soon, very soon, you will start seeing a feed here for the Meltdown. So you can listen to us wherever you go. Maybe catch half of the show on YouTube. You can catch the other half in the car there. And we will continue to have the conversation here with all of our loyal Meltdonians. What are you excited about? Are you seeing anything this weekend, Tyler? Anything?
Tomorrow I'm seeing Mickey 17. Are you not seeing that as well?
I'm going to see Mickey 17. I just don't know when.
Okay.
Probably, if I had to guess, probably Monday. I'll probably see it Monday.
Okay. We need to make a review for that one.
I
'Cause
agree.
I feel like that one will actually be a talking point. And be worth having a conversation about.
I hope. Bong Joon-ho is the director behind this, stars Robert Pattinson, and they've shown a lot in the previews of sort of what the gimmick is, but I think there will be enough twists and turns and maybe dark comedy associated with it to where it will create a lot of discussion. How good will it be? We shall see. I'm looking forward to getting Tyler's review as well next week. So we'll talk about that. Once again, mybookie.ag is where you need to head. They're our title sponsor. They've got a sign-up bonus right now, 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. All one word there, NEXTROUND. mybookie.ag. 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when using that promo code. Make sure you head on over there and support them at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. That's going to do it for us. We will see you again very soon here from the Culver studio. I'm Tim Melton, that's EG, and that is the lovable boy that we call Lionel right here on the Meltdown. We'll see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.